Hello, my name is Richard Halter, and this little presentation is introduce you to something called POSLog. And POSLog is the lifeblood of retail, as it provides information to virtually every system in retail for them to be able to make their management decisions. So, who am I? I started writing software in 1968, and over my life, I wrote well over 1 million lines of code. One of those things was an internet remote control software package that allowed vendors and retailers to remotely access their systems without having to be in the store. In 1995, I wrote the first internet certified credit card software. Prior to that, you had to call into a call center and they would process your credit cards. I have over 20 years experience with POS development. I became the Chief Technology Architect for the Association for Retail Technology Standards, and in doing that, I was involved in creating everything in retail standards. You will see a small sampling of that in this work today. I was trained by over 1,450 subject matter experts. Every time we started a new standard, we got a set of experts on that, and I got to learn all about retail. You'll see the effect of that here shortly. As a consultant, I've been training people all over the world about this. I've been in 20 countries, had some very successful things. I've worked with real-time tax collection software. I wrote the book, Author of Arts for Retail, and now I'm the president of Global Retail Technology Advisors, and I've created the IVRM model that you will get to see today. During my time as a chief technology architect, I was the man behind the curtain. I was the person that created all of the magic that you will see. And as such, I was given the title Wizard of POS. Retail is complicated, as shown by this drawing. It's a drawing of interfaces between applications in a retail environment. I was the chair of the committee that created this drawing originally in around 2002, and it's been updated over time to add new systems that needed new interface definitions to help connect everybody together. As we focus in on the point of sale, we see that POSLog is the information that is the lifeblood of most of these applications for them to make decisions on what they're going to be doing. So what is in POSLog? Well, POSLog is a message model, and as such, it has to be able to encompass a very large amount of information. While each message that is sent is a very small subset of the overall message. For example, the overall message has got 7,000 plus elements and attributes in it. And it's there to support multiple technology architectures, like a monolithic architecture, which is the traditional model, or the new microservices model, or even the older WSDL model. It has business processes embedded in it, so it does the biggest part is traditional sales and returns, but it supports online ordering. It supports the buy online, pick up in the store model. There are many communications models that can communicate this POSLog information, request response, event models, asynchronous models, and synchronous models. POSLog supports multiple transaction types. For example, it supports a retail transaction, which is the traditional sales model that most people are familiar with. But it also supports the customer order transaction, which is a transaction that is built up of two components. A customer selects a bunch of items that they want to buy, for example, on the web, and then they want to pick them up in the store, or they want to pay for them as a separate step in the process. And so a customer order transaction is a multi-step process leading to a retail transaction. And on the web, you have a kind of a unique situation as people will go around and select various items but not do anything with them. So that's called an order transaction. In addition, you can build up a shopping basket. So say at your house you decide you want to order some milk and eggs, and you can create a shopping list. Well, that creates the shopping basket that can then be translated to the retail store, and to get transferred into a customer order transaction, which eventually becomes a retail transaction. But on top of that, there are things called tender control transactions, and these are the non-sales money movement things, like being able to do a deposit at the bank. Then there are control transactions, like somebody logging in or logging out of a particular point of sale. There are inventory control transactions, because in some places the store is too small to have a separate inventory system, so they use their point of sale to log items into their inventory for the local store. The fueling transaction is a couple of unique aspects, for example, a drive-off, and so it has to be able to manage those, as well as the food service transaction. In the course on POSLog, you're going to learn from one of the primary authors of POSLog. That's me, Richard Halter. I was the chair of the POSLog committee when we first published our standard, and at the time I was working for a small company called McDonald's. And in the last 20 years, I've helped write all 34 message models with multiple versions for communication. For example, POSLog is in version 6 now. I helped create 20 RFP templates to help people buy applications in retail. There are 9 blueprints, which are documents explaining the information necessary to create the message models. There are numerous design models in here. There are architecture designs, task state drawings, data flow diagrams, etc. There's a very large number of these things showing how to put all of these things together to create an application. On top of that, there are 45 devices, and these are devices that like interface to a printer, for example. And the latest group of these are a set of robot interfaces to be able to control robots. There are 7 integration papers where they didn't lead to standards, and these are very much similar to blueprints, except they're telling you how to use other standards. Then there are 9 best practices papers. You can't have a standards organization that doesn't have best practices to tell them how to build things. And there is one operational data model, and this is where the Retail Technology Standards Group started in 1994. And today there are over 800 tables in this model, and there are over 8,000 attributes, and it covers virtually everything in retail. There is such a massive amount of information in these standards that I have created various tools to help you understand how to use them. For example, I have a blog at globalretailtechnologyadvisors.com where I describe various pieces of the system. I wrote a book called Art for Retail. You can purchase it at Amazon. And it's a high-level description of the technology needed to support a retail organization. It was originally written for people in the college or that are coming into retail new to understand the technology side of it, because typically technology folks were hired not for their retail knowledge, but for their programming skills. But it is expanded to be able to tell the presidents and the CEOs what's going on behind the scenes in their technology side. I have created a course on retail technology architecture, and this is the underlying course to tell you how to move into a microservices world and leverage all of the standards that are in the arts world. And of course, there's the POSLog, is the lifeblood of retail. That's what this is about. And I have a course that's available at converselink.com. In addition, I have several YouTube videos at this location. This is the granddaddy of all of that work. This model integrates all of the information that you see in the previous slides into one interactive model. In 2015, the Association for Retail Technology Standards, now under the omg.org world, produced a business process model, which is an interactive model where you can drill down and see the various processes supporting each of these areas. I have taken that and put it on steroids. I have driven it down into a store model, which you saw the scary drawing at the start of this presentation. That's there. And if you drill down on any of these things, there's all sorts of cross links to it. But in addition to that, while building all of this stuff, I came to the realization that retailers fail not because they have a bad strategy, but they have a poor execution of that strategy, which means the people who are executing the things don't know what they're doing is related to the strategy. So I've created this closed loop system to help explain that. Thank you. I am the Wizard of Pod. My name is Richard Halter. Please check out my book, Art for Retail, using technology to turn your consumers into customers and make a profit. It's available on Kindle. Thank you.